Ceviche, take one. Welcome to Making Ceviche. First, let's answer the question, what is ceviche? Ceviche is a traditional, excuse me, is a traditional seafood marinated preparation that comes out of Spain. And of course, they have it in South America and many of the other Latin countries, Mexico. They all kind of have their versions. But the origin here and the language use of the spelling of the word even, it comes from Spain. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to make some scallop ceviche, which is probably the most well-known in the U.S. Although I will remind you before we even get started here, and this is not a long video either. This is I'm going to show you how to put it together to marinate first, and then we're going to come back. I'm going to give it a couple of hours to marinate, and then we'll come back and do some presentation work. But I'll tell you about that in a minute. But back to what is ceviche. Again, I said I'm going to use scallops to show you today because that's very well known here in the United States. But you can put all kinds of things in there, diced fish of any kind almost. As long as the fish is fresh, you can put it in there. And I want to answer the question now about what takes place in the bowl. In this particular case, I've got about a cup and a half, cup and a quarter of sea scallops that I cleaned and diced, yes. And I'm going to put them in a bowl here. And they, if you can come down here, I started out with these 20-30 size fresh scallops, and I cleaned all of the little sinews, which is what this little pile is. I cleaned that off of all these. And these are the little things that are here. This is what connects the scallop to its shell. You see, these have to come off. These are considered to be undesirable. I left a couple for you just to see what that was real quick. And what I did with these scallops, now you can use regular base scallops or you can use any size you want. And you could even leave these almost whole and cut them in half that way and marinate them if you want. No problem. But what I chose to do was to dice them a little bit like that. And you'll see why I chose that size in a few minutes. So I have my 1.5 cups of scallops in the bowl here. And we're done with this stuff. And the sinews are garbage. I'm going to throw that out. So we're going to put, I have fresh lemon juice and fresh lime juice. Now fresh lime juice, of course, is the primary component for the marinade in terms of the citrus, okay? And I'm going to put the lime juice right in there like that. And I'm going to put a little bit of fresh squeezed lemon juice in there too because I like it with both. And we're going to put some extra virgin olive oil in here. And I think what I'm going to do is, for this marinade, I'm going to put the balance of the scallops whole in here also. And I will just take out what I want because I want you to know that you can also do them whole and how they come out. They just take a little bit longer for the marinade. Now, the classic ingredients, and this has a tendency to be a spicy dish, are some kind of hot chili. I'm not going to do that today. It isn't certainly a requirement, and just add it if you want to. You can also add dried red chilies to it if you want. But we're going to put some fresh cilantro in there. And I didn't chop everything because, I don't know, for some reason people get a kick out of watching me chop things. But I like this particular preparation with a fair amount of cilantro. So I have a small whole bunch there, okay? And we're going to put some garlic in there. Got to have that. Got about 2 to 3 tablespoons of fresh chopped garlic. And we're going to put some minced purple onion in there. I'm going to mince this onion up a little bit. I have an actual video in the basics section of this website that teaches you how to dice an onion like this. And that's more than enough. Let me see here. That's more than enough. I don't need that much. I don't need the whole onion, so put that aside. Let's see if I can clean myself up just a touch here before I continue. Okay, now I've got a red bell pepper, half, and I got a little bit of red bell pepper red, green and red. And we're going to mince those two up. Just flatten them out a little bit. Now, always when you're mincing your bell peppers, the skin side should be face down. Okay, we'll add the red pepper to that. And we'll cut the half of the pepper, the green pepper in half. Flatten that out a little bit. Let's see if we can stack this up and do it. Pepper. And I've got some fresh ground black pepper here. I'm going to put some of that in there. Probably a whole teaspoon. I'm going to put a little bit of salt. A little bit later, after it marinates, I may want to put a pinch of sugar in it. It depends what it tastes like. And now we're going to mix this up. Now, typically what you would do, you cover this up with plastic wrap, and you put this in your refrigerator. And you let it marinate. And something takes place during the marinating process with the ceviche that is significant and important for you to understand. The first question you're saying was, he's not cooking the fish, so how's it going to be cooked? The fish gets cooked in a different way than when you cook fish with heat. When you cook fish with heat, you're pretty much driving the blood and the juice and the waters out of the fish, and that's the difference between it being raw and cooked. Well, what happens in this marinade is the process of osmosis during this, what we call period of maceration, which is the period of time in which it is sitting in this liquid, absorbing and dispelling its own juices and the juices that that it is marinating in. So osmosis cooks the fish. It's actually cooked and it will not have a sense of rawness to it. Now, some people like the sense of rawness a little bit, and so they may not want to marinate it too long. But the longer it sits in the marinated, the more cooked it gets. You could say such a thing as overcooking it in the marinade. So I'm going to plastic wrap this and put it in the fridge, and then in a couple hours I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you a couple of ways to garnish and embellish this particular preparation with three very cool items: cucumber, papaya, and cucumber pie and avocado. Yes, I have a California avocado, a pink ripe papaya, and some nice cucumber. And we're going to do a little combination of stuffing some of this in a tomato, stuffing an avocado, and then just putting it on a plate or garnishing the bowl with those three items too. So I'll see you in a couple hours right now after this gets marinated.